Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting. Welcome to Don't Do Stupid Shit to Your Body on Om Times Radio with inventor, author, engineer, and rebel Gail Lynn. Gail has over 3 decades of solving her own health mysteries and then helping thousands of others find a better quality of life through sound, light, frequency, and vibration. She has witnessed countless stories of people harming themselves, some resulting in death, just because they didn't know any better. Her hope is to educate people to be more discerning and critically think about the sources of information being researched, as well as products and modalities being used to determine if or how they are biased and misleading. Don't Do Stupid Shit is inspiring, honest, authentic, and unapologetic. Listen now to laugh and learn from Gail Lynn and her guests as they discuss how to be more discerning with healers, energy modalities, what you put into your body, and, most importantly, to listen to your body. Here is your host, Gail Lynn.
Hey everyone, welcome to another show. I'm so excited. Typically, I have to tell you a joke. So let's start out with one of my corny jokes. So I have a pharmacist friend, and he said he ended up having a call from a daughter. So the wife actually ingested her husband's prostate medicine, and the daughter was so concerned. So she calls up the pharmacist and says, is there any cause for alarm? Should I look out for anything? And he said, well, the only thing that you want to look out for is if she starts hanging out at the hardware stores and buying a lot of power tools. So there you go. There's one joke to get things started before we get into it with Miss Heather.
Hi.
So Heather, great. I was so impressed when we first met, and I thought you have a lot to say and a lot to teach people, and I really want to bring you on my show. What you really caught my attention with is when we talked about ascension versus descension. So we're going to get into that today. But my show is basically about helping people to, save their own life, to know what they don't know to save their own life. I want the show to be something where people are like, what? I had not heard that before. And that is important information to give you a better quality of life. And I know you've had quite a bit of experience. If you want to share with everybody a little bit of who you are, and then I want you to talk about the car analysis.
Oh, yes, I'm happy to. So I am human and holy, and I've been trying to balance that my whole life, right? I think we all are. And I, too, like you, have just a number of years of experience trying to heal my body against the ill advice, if you will, of the medical field and things of that nature. So I turned to spirituality, and I really found that my whole problem was everything that I was not being allowed. Like everything that I am, was not being allowed. And everything that I was not was what I was carrying. And so I had trapped emotions. That was the biggest thing for me. Just my light being shut down and no one really around to empower me. And so I had to turn my own light on. I had to empower myself.
Isn't that great when we can do that and break the patterns of our past, and we can turn our own light on and love ourselves first?
Absolutely. And so that's my whole journey. I'm highly intuitive and a direct channel for source. And so when I finally stepped into that power and turned my light on, it's just been smooth sailing from there. And, not always sunshine and rainbows, but smooth sailing that I can express and be who I am. And I'm like you, and your story from your first show really touched me because it's very parallel. And we'll talk about that later today, later in the show. I'm very passionate, if you will, hyper passionate about not doing stupid shit to your body.
Right.
Mhm.
And we've all done it. And, maybe at the end you can share a stupid shit thing that you did to your body. So
Sure. I got that.
probably plenty too. So yeah, when we were talking the other day, you talked about, a car analysis. If you want to share that, it's such a beautiful analogy.
Yes, thank you. I love a good metaphor. And so basically, if you think about it, in the spiritual community, a lot what we hear is that our body is a vehicle for source or for spirit. And I was just talking with my husband, as I normally do, and I was in the stream and in the moment, and it just came out. And it made so much sense. Our younger son is a mechanic, and my husband is a car lover. So we often talk a lot about cars in correlation to a lot of different things. So if we're thinking about our body being a vehicle, how amazing is God, source, creator, whatever everybody wants to call it, that we got the car, the vehicle, we got the driver, and we got the mechanic all in one. Now think about like the 3D world, and us as a human, if we'd like a car, we got to go to the car lot and we got to purchase a car. We got to figure out, do we like what it looks like? Do we like how it feels? Can I see myself driving this thing every day? And then we be the driver. And then if something's wrong with the car, we have to take it to a mechanic. Well, God is so funny. He gave us all three in one. And that's being the vehicle is our physical vessel and a source which to express through. And so that's our personality. What does our body look like, right? And then the driver, it's our soul. Our soul drives our body, and our soul incarnated to have an experience and grow and realize itself here through this physical vessel. And then the mechanic, who do you think the mechanic is? Christ within. Hello. These are the times. This is the time. And we can go within, and everything that we need is within. And I think it's just a beautiful metaphor for people to think about, how are you taking care of your physical car? Is it messy? Is it clean? You take it for regular maintenance? And if you're taking your car for regular maintenance, are you regularly maintaining your own body? How do you take care of your own body? And so I think it's food for thought.
I love it, because I know when I was younger, I used to look at women that walked by. I'm like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. I wish I was her. Or, she's so, she seems so confident. I wish I could be that. And I don't do that anymore. I don't want to be anybody else but me. So it was really hard and such a long journey to get to that place. And, we go to these doctors and we've been kind of conditioned to say, what's wrong with me? What do I do? And it's so hard for me to watch that, because we need to go within, like you said, and we need to say, what's wrong with me? What do I do? Not go outward to ask that question. So, every day I hear stories from somebody. I had a lady come over today to give me a quote on cleaning the house. And she said she went to the doctor and she lost the hearing in her right ear. And the doctor says, I don't know why you lost your hearing, but likely you won't lose the hearing in your left ear. She said, you don't know why I lost the hearing in my right ear, but you're saying this very unlikely I'll lose it in my left. And she already tuned into, it's a viral load, and we do know that a viral load in the body can cause deafness. So I have a really great silver that I use, Silver Biotics. And so I said, you know what, here's a bottle of silver, take this for a few weeks and, and see if you have any, notice a difference. But she already tuned into her own body, and she's her own best doctor. So I find it really empowering that we can get to this place. And if I can get to this place and you can get to this place, anybody can with a little bit of work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad that she had the inner knowing, because it can come so fast for some of us, right? For some of us, and speaking from like a intuition standpoint, it can come as a yes or a no or or an uh-huh. And some people can smell BS. Some people can taste it. And some people can really hear it versus like knowing, or they can see it, right? All of our clairs. And if we're not taking a moment to breathe and have spatial awareness, and then, as opposed to sinking into fear, we can lose that small, steady voice, smell, taste, hear, whatever it is that's talking to us from within. So that's awesome that you were able to share something with her. She's such a
Oh my gosh, I know. You know me, she came up to my loft, and I have a lift, which is our home unit, a sound and light therapy. And she's like, oh my gosh, what a great wardrobe. Like she thought it was a closet. And I was like, how cute. Because it kind of does look like a rounded closet. And I said, oh no, that's the lift. It's our home unit, sound and light chamber. And she's like, what? And then she's been in the Army, so PTSD. And she said, I have friends. So I gave her a stack of cards, right? And then I have the harmonic egg in my walkout basement. So I showed her that because she's going to have to clean all this stuff anyway, right? So she was like, oh my God. She's like, and you invented this? I'm like, well, I would kind of say that it came through me, and it was from God, from source, from universe. Hey, Charles, how you doing? I see him in the chat here. From source, from, universe, from God, because in this little vessel that I am, and my soul being is so much bigger than this little vessel that I chose for this lifetime. Mm-hmm. So what kind of advice would you give to somebody if they didn't like the vessel that they chose this lifetime?
Well, I'm a straight shooter. So
yeah, shoot it up.
God, your soul, and your higher self just didn't get it wrong. It wasn't wrong. And so when we came, and we're just so heavily programmed. We're so heavily programmed. So I think just asking ourselves lots of questions. I have an 8-year-old daughter. She has really dark eyes. When she was born, they were gray, and they've just turned really dark. They almost look like they're black. You really can't like see a difference between like her eye and her iris. And so she sees everybody's eye colors, and she just wants that. So I'm constantly, your eyes are so cool. Your eyes are different, and their eyes are different, and we all get to be different. We're like sort of same, but definitely different. And I'm just trying to teach her that differences are okay. But like you, I always wanted to be everything that I wasn't. But really, what we are is freaking amazing. But my advice for people that don't like what they see is you got to find something. There's got to be something that you enjoy or that you like about yourself. And then you got to keep looking at it and loving it, and then find something else every day. Because it didn't get wrong. So you got to figure out how to love it.
Yeah, great advice. I know there's some people that say, oh my gosh, I'm fat, I'm pear-shaped, I'm this, my boobs are too big, my boobs are too small, I got arm flab, I got this or that or another thing. And I think it's trapped emotions, as you started this conversation, trapped emotions. So I have somebody that I know that gets a lot of chin hair. She's a woman. And I was looking at the book Messages from the Body by Michael Lincoln, and there is a emotional attachment to being, hairy in places that are not normally hairy, that you feel that someone kind of trapped you and kept you in a place that, was against your will. And so when I brought this up to this person, it really resonated with them. But they said they just didn't pick a good body this lifetime, and they're not happy with the temple that they chose this lifetime. But this is such a beautiful soul, such a giving, big-hearted, beautiful hair, beautiful eyes, beautiful skin. This person is in her 40s and she still gets carded because she looks like she's 12. So
That's
she
awesome.
has so many gifts. And people would love to be in their 40s and look like they're 12 or 16 years old, right? And so to look at the things that are beautiful about you, that's great advice.
Yeah. I think humans in this day and age have a marred sense of what beauty is. Because if our higher self was part of the equation, like if we were really in our higher self, everything is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. And I think we're very trained and programmed to look at things and say, that is ugly. That is terrible. That is bad. That's good. And so Ram Dass, I really like a quote, forgive me, I'm not going to say it in its perfect entirety, but he just talks about when we walk through a forest, we're not picking out the short stumpy tree against the tall beautiful tree. We're not looking at the tree's imperfections when we're walking through the forest. We're actually taking in all the awe and beauty and seeing the differences and saying, wow, nature is so amazing. If we could all just look at each other like trees, how much better could that be? Stay in your own lane. Stay in your own lane and love yourself.
Yeah.
We are the light. We are it. And the light transforms everything.
I was listening to a podcast last week or the week before. I just love the podcast by Dr. Gabor. I might be saying his name wrong.
Gabor.
But somebody was telling him that it's human nature to be negative and to screw people over and to be hateful and rude and cut people off in traffic. But he said, let's flip that. It's the conditioning that's caused that. The human nature of us is to be kind and giving and caring and loving. And so, if we flip that script, then there's a whole lot more of how do we speak to ourselves? How do we love ourselves? How do we do self-care? I laugh because I got sciatica recently, which I already got rid of it. It came because I think I was saying, that's a pain in my ass. That's a pain in my ass. That's a pain in my ass. And guess what? I manifested a pain in my ass. So did you too? Tell me the story.
Well, I got sciatica. Oh, I think it's funny. Did it rain recently? Was it raining too?
It's cloudy again today too. Yeah.
I noticed elders in my family, and they'd always like, oh, it's getting ready to rain. I can feel it on my knees. And I was like, hogwash. Y'all are silly. You guys are so cute. And then I got sciatica from a car accident, my hip being just disjointed. And for many years, I felt the rain coming. And I was like, oh, I got to eat those words. I'm so silly. But I was using those words because I was so angry and perturbed at that time about everything that I was seeing, not realizing at that time that how powerful I was and that I'm the seer and I'm the beholder. And so, hey, you're a pain in my ass. I had one right on down to my foot. And now it's gone. It's completely gone with the work that I do. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So I did a couple of egg sessions and I realized that sciatica pain can be related astrology wise to Sagittarius, it's a certain tone with a certain color. And I just did some sessions around that and boom, it's gone. But I have to be really careful with my words because the closer you get to your higher self and the more layers of onion you peel off and the more trauma you release from your cellular level, I think the quicker you can manifest, the quicker you can say something and then all of a sudden it's yours.
Yes.
And so, the saying, be careful what you wish for.
Full body goosies, because that is truth on truth on truth. And
right.
It's actually a mature spiritual responsibility when you get to this level, because manifestation is this quick that, and I experience it often myself, and especially through my husband, good Lord. And we've really had to learn experientially how powerful we are and how powerful our words are. And earlier I was thinking about when we were younger, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Such a lie, because words are that powerful that they can hurt you, especially the I am statement and the you are statement. And so, caution to everybody, be a word police. You gotta watch your words,
well,
and your intention behind them.
People do these lists, of what they want to attract in a partner and everything like that. And I've done all that, manifested everything and more. And I remember when I go to my boyfriend's house, we don't live together. We're not going to get married. It's a perfect relationship because I like my space. I need to decompress after the day, 12 to 14, hour days every day, 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. And so I remember he got a new puppy. This was probably 7 years ago now. And this puppy was so stressful. And I went to his house to kind of unwind and get away from work and my computer and my phone and this and that. And I thought, oh my gosh. So the puppy ate the curtains. The puppy ate his pillowcase, ate through his mattress, was eating everything in the house. And he said, if this puppy chews on my new leather couch, and it was the only thing the puppy didn't chew on, I'm getting rid of him because I can't do this. And I said, oh, I hope the puppy chews on the couch. The next day, it had been a year and the puppy hadn't touched the couch. The next day, the puppy chewed on the couch. And he said, that's it. And I said, crap, I did this. You got to be careful what you wish for. So I said, babe, I'm so sorry. I will buy you a new couch, whatever. This is totally my fault. Please don't get rid of her because she's such a sweetheart. And now 7 years later, he still has the same dog. They're so tight. They're buddies. And it's so awesome that he didn't get rid of her. But I said, this was my fault. I manifested this. And he's like, oh, phooey, you did not. He said, you did not. So did you lock up?
I'm not sure what happened, but
okay, there you are. There you are.
Sorry, guys.
So long story short, the puppy is still there, but I manifested it. I manifested this dog to chew on the couch that, because I was so stressed out, the puppy running all over the place. So really important to watch your words. And we are master manifestors when we start clearing the trauma, doing our shadow work and, releasing all that trauma. It's so beautiful, but be careful what you wish for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're that powerful.
We are that powerful, but we've been hoodwinked, as my Australian friend used to say. We've been hoodwinked to believe we're not, to, for control. Yeah. We can do anything. We are so powerful. So I had dinner with some friends last night, and he's very intuitive, very spiritual, very amazing, and talk about listening to your body. But he said, I observed something, because we were talking about dementia, because we are going to have some center owners that are neurologists. 2 partners are neurologists in California. And they do dementia. They specialize in dementia. So for a long time, I thought dementia was a chronically shrunken brain from being dehydrated, because a lot of elderly people have dementia and they haven't had sufficient water for probably 20, 30, 40 years. Mm-hmm. And so the medical medium says it's your brain shrinks and dementia because you're chronically dehydrated. And a lot of people say we don't die of old age, we die of dehydration. And it makes total sense to me. I'm constantly hydrating. And so last night he said his dad got dementia as soon as the doctor took him off of salt. His high blood pressure went up, took him off salt. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm going to have to look that up, because I was talking to the doctors, the neurologists, and he said they also do see that the part of the brain can shrink when you don't use it. So a lot of the younger generation, they're using their computers, they're not socializing, they're not getting out in nature. So parts of their brain are dying or shrinking, if you will. So that's another reason that, the brain can shrink or die in certain parts and cause the dementia. So of course, you can find anything you want on the internet. So I looked up dementia and sodium or salt levels, and I found two things. I found low salt causes dementia, high salt causes dementia. So I just had to giggle, because it's like we have to listen to our bodies, because we're all different. And it just is comical to me that you can look up anything and find the opposite.
On it.
Yeah. So I believe that we need sodium, we need hydration, and I think there's something there too. We actually don't die of old age, we die of dehydration. And when we have adrenal fatigue, when we have stress, the body gets dehydrated and what they call salt washed or something. So the adrenals can burn off, and then the kidneys will release the salt. So we've got to add those good salts back into our bodies. It's really interesting how much dehydration is. Yeah, go ahead.
You're onto something, and I wholeheartedly believe you. My mom has vascular dementia, and she's on hospice right now in my home. I'm her caregiver, and I have a firsthand account of the entirety of her life. I'll add in my personal opinion that everything is within us. So that means the stars, the sun, the moon, the cosmos. It's in, out, in, out. And we're informed frequency-wise by all of this. And so earlier you mentioned the astrological component. Sagittarius has an affliction to their hips. We have a Sagittarian daughter, very big Sagittarian daughter, and she had an affliction with her hip already at such a young age, and we encountered that. My mother, I have her on cell salts, actually, and she started improving. I had to look for a while for a lactose-free binder, because cell salts do come binded. They like to bind it in lactose. So I did recently come across a company that does gluten-free, non-GMO, organic cell salts, and it's all of the cell salts in one, is the one that I chose. So I'm on it, she's on it, and I wholeheartedly believe that cell salts, dehydration, but I also believe that it is a sheer lack of not doing what you came here to do in this lifetime. When you ignore the call of your soul or your higher self, and we're in choice, we can choose. We get that. Our body starts to break down and deteriorate. And so I think it's all encompassing, but I wholeheartedly agree with the cell salts.
Yeah, because too, we're going back to trapped emotions again. Your mom knows that she didn't fulfill what she came here to do. And so that's a trapped emotion as well. Don't you agree that at some level we know this at a soul level? And so
Absolutely.
disease manifests.
She has the chin hair that came through. And it wasn't until my brother and I came together to have some conversations, and he shifted stuck emotions that he held around her, and then an egg session for me. And then that Sunday, she popped back. She realized that she was stuck in her body, and she spoke. She was coherent. She cried, she laughed. She's still in there, but she's so programmed and so angry with emotions that are trapped. You know, I'm not quite sure that, you know, she'll make the choice to resurrect, but my faith well runs deep. And I believe that at any point, Dr. Joe Dispenza and plenty of people have mentioned that they've been on death's doorknob. I don't know what I was saying, but
let's take a commercial break, and then when we come back, let's kind of wrap this one up and talk about ascension and descension, because that's where I want to go with this. So.
Absolutely.
Om Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities. Sound and light therapy have been used in healing for thousands of years. In today's fast-paced world, our bodies and minds are more stressed than ever. Stress is known to be the #1 reason for many diseases and illnesses. Current lifestyles are causing premature deaths and preventable diseases. What can you do? Get a Lift. A powerful, self-evolving resonant sound and light chamber reduces stress, can be used daily, and offers individuals peace and tranquility while restoring the body and mind to its natural state of vitality. Visit letitflowtherapy.com.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you.
And we're back. I just love saying that. That's all. So we've been having a pretty lively discussion here and there, kind of like squirrel, shiny thing, just going all over. So I want to make sure we focus on this last part of the show to talk about the death of the ego. Not that I want to use the word death, because we're always going to have ego, but how we're ascending. And I want you to talk about descension as well, because I don't think a lot of people have heard of descension.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot out there on the interwebs, like you said, and so much polarity because they got to keep us, you know, one or the other, this or that. And then ascension. And a lot of people are feeling symptoms. A lot of people are becoming more and more aware of their spirituality, but very apprehensive or hurt by the church and religion. So they're looking for something that is just more digestible and relatable. And so I think they turn to what people would say is like the New Age or things like that. And there's a lot of information out there about ascending, going from, 3D to 5D and all this stuff, which, I'm not discounting, but I don't know if anybody pays attention, but when we walk out of the house or we're out on the street, in the car, we witness a lot of people that are not in their bodies. They are effectively, it's like the Walking Dead. If you're not aware that you are more than just a physical fleshly body vehicle. Something else is ruling you. If you're not aware that you are a light body and that you have many light bodies and that you have an aura, who is running you if you're not in charge of that? Because that is our responsibility while we're here. We have to take back our power, folks. Like, we have to. And part of ascension is going up in consciousness. I particularly like the work of Paul Selig and the guides. Go to the upper room. It's very powerful, and you just claim, I am in the upper room. And if you've done enough work around that, you're there. You can feel it. It's palpable. And there's no fear there. And what no one, I find, is talking about is being rooted in our bodies, descension. We, at this time, we don't want to just whoo and fly away off the planet, because that's not what we're here for. We're here literally to be human and experience the depth of our emotions, not hold them in and trap them and go to work soul-sucking, life-sucking jobs and working for other people and putting all these terrible things on our body and in our body, thinking, oh, that's just how we always done it or how we do it. It's, we need to understand who and what we are, raise our consciousness, but we have to be so rooted deep within our own body and grounded to the earth. The earth is a conductor.
A lot of the healers that I know, they're always working on their third eye chakra and their crown chakra. And they're so not grounded and they're so not balanced. And so we've talked about this before. There's some really beautiful healers on the planet, but there's also people who are harming others.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you call a priest, most people know that I was molested by the priest when I was 14. It's not my story anymore. Doing sessions and releasing trauma has really helped me to release that as my story. But for a long time, I had to walk away from God, because when you're 14 years old, God is the priest, right? So these are healers. One example of a healer is a priest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized, here I'd be in confession, and he wanted to always do face-to-face confession and play footsies with me and just really ridiculous stuff. And I thought, I'm confessing my sins to a sinner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't make sense to me. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me. And so there's a lot of healers out there that are wounded. And they're hurting other people. So I had a lady come to me one day and she said, I can't do the harmonic egg because I'm allergic to sacred geometry. I said, do you ever go out in nature? And she's like, yes, I go out in nature all the time. I said, well, that is all sacred geometry. And so I said, what about this healer? Do you feel that that you're being hurt by sacred geometry? Well, every time this shaman works on me, I'm sick for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and he uses sacred geometry. So I'm allergic to sacred geometry. I said, you're getting hurt by the energy of the healer. And she said, oh my gosh, a light bulb just went off. She realized that it was the healer hurting her and not sacred geometry. Mm-hmm. So there's so many different ways that we can ground ourselves and be balanced, but a lot of these spiritual teachers and healers are always working on their upper chakras, yet we realize we have to descend, ground, get into our body, because if we're not in our body, we can't ascend. Yeah?
You're not going to get very far. Not in the slightest, the body keeps score, all these terms and books, there's such truth to that. And we can experientially, or not experientially, we can, in our head, we can go there and say, yes, I've dealt with my trauma. I've worked through it. I'm okay. And a lot of work is done in the mind. There's a lot of mindset work, and it's just, no, but you got to work on the body. Yeah, body. I am safe. Touch your body and hug your body. Your body remembers everything that's happened to us and how we've been accosted and all of these things. So, there's just a lot of people that are not rooted, and you got to really get rooted. Go outside, stand barefoot in the grass, and tell me, like, you've got to be able to feel how palpable bare feet on the grass is. It's like an electrical current. It just sparks you back up to life. I mean, you ground to the earth. And it's really important to understand that we're a whole body, and it has to work together. Gone are the days where you can compartmentalize the body. Praise the day that the medical world.
They're coming around. My last interview was with a DO doctor, and he talked about how love heals, the frequency of love heals.
Mm-hmm.
And the neurologists that are going to be opening a center with the products that we have at Harmonic Egg, we were talking about how people put, crappy foods into their body. They are in crappy relationships. They are exposing themselves to toxic environments. And he said, what your technology is doing is bringing people back to loving themselves first and being in love with themselves. Well, when you're in love with yourself, are you going to eat Taco Bell and it's probably not even going to taste good? And hey, I'm the first one to go get an Arby's once in a while because I like my Arby's with horsey sauce. Every couple months, I will crave that. And it's just a comfort food, I think. But I love myself. And so I put good water, good salt, good foods, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables into my body. I am divorced because I love myself. And I got out of this crappy relationship that was taking away my power and dimming my light. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people will find themselves coming to centers, and the next thing you know, they're quitting a job, they're getting out of a relationship, and that's not a bad thing. It's them loving themselves. So when you can get somebody to love themselves, then they're going to take care of themselves and they're going to eat the right foods and get into the right relationships. And so I thought it was a beautiful, way to express we don't really need to help people with their diets. We need to help people to love themselves. And doctors are starting to realize that nutrition and love heal. Like, it's so amazing.
Absolutely. Love is the frequency, and that's the love that heals. I think a lot of people, again, with the internet of things, love, learn to love yourself, and And it's like a lot of people are just like, what does that even mean? Like, how do I even love myself? And I think it needs to be a lot more digestible and understood that everything is first frequency before it turns into matter. It's got to start on an energetic level.
So share some ways that you love yourself.
Well, I do energy work every day. So I connect to my spirit, I connect to my higher self, and I pour love into myself by way of knowing who and what I am. And, just affirmations. I touch my body. I remind my body how safe and loved I am. My practice of self-love is a lot of the things that you said that you're doing, where I take care to put, certain things in my body. I listen to my body. My body's my best friend. It didn't used to be. Hurt people can hurt other people. And I was a very hurt person, but I didn't hurt other people. I hurt myself. And I don't know which one's worse because it all sucks. And so, I just am really gentle and soft with my body. And I do things that I just, I'm trying to find the word. I just can't go against myself. You know what I mean? And anything that goes against myself is me not loving myself. So if we're not filling our own teacup up with love and empowerment and the light that we are, there's no spillage to give from. I give from my saucer, and I ask God, source, higher self every day, fill me with your light and your love, work in and through me, move me a little bit out of the way, and just use me how you see fit. We can only do that if we're aligned to the frequency of love. I am aligned to the frequency of love.
Mm-hmm.
There's parables in the Bible that talk about love. You can go there.
Yeah. Well, and I think that there's a lot of people who say they love their spouse, but when you look at them, they don't love themselves. So how is it that you think that people can, I don't want to say claim, because they really truly do believe they love this other person, but if they don't love themselves, how can they love someone else or something else?
That's an excellent question, because I think for a long time I claimed that I loved people, but I wasn't so sure about how to love my own self. I very dearly loved my children. I'm a mom of 5. I would lay down my life for my children, and I love them. And I did wonderful things for them at the cost of sometimes not doing wonderful things for myself. So I think really just sitting in silence and being with yourself is one of the hardest things for humans to do. And I don't claim hard anymore, because how do you overcome something that's hard? I like challenge, because you can overcome a challenge. So, but it's right now it's really hard for people to love themselves, and it's all conditioning, and it's a choice. You got to choose yourself, and you got to realize it's all about realization.
Well, and some people can say, well, that you're being selfish. So, I think that at some level, loving yourself is being selfish, but there's a negative energy around being selfish. Just like a lot of people say, oh, Gail, you complain about everything. Well, you know what? I'm authentic, and I'm sorry, but not sorry. When I go to a store and they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm not the one that says, oh, good, I'm doing good. I'll say I'm tired, or I've had a stressful day, or I'm very authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've learned to be authentic because of being around my horse. There's a nonverbal communication with her. And if I go out there and be like, hey, and I'm not, hey, I'm boo, she will turn her back on me and say, you are not being authentic with me.
Ooh, she'll call you a liar.
She'll call me a liar. She'll be like, you lying, get away from me. And so it's really cool to watch myself in the mirror of her.
Yeah.
And so when I go somewhere, I'm trying to be authentic. And it's interesting because she shows me when I'm not authentic, and I open up my heart to her with like 100%. I love her with my whole heart. And when I go to a store, it's interesting because I'll find that if I say, oh, I'm tired today, that engages the clerk or the cashier to then be authentic with me. So it's not a complaint. I'm just saying. And then they go, I'm kind of stressed out today too. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I remember the one clerk the other day, I said, I hope no one yells at you today, and that everybody treats you well. Because at the airport, they always say people are in there yelling at them. They don't like their prices. It's not like they set the prices. And so I said, I hope no one yells at you today. I hope everybody just treats you with kindness and love. And she's like, God bless you. And I'm like, well, God bless you too. And even though somebody had treated me very poorly just moments before and tried to push me off of the walking, the running walkway, where you walk, so my boyfriend and I were going to Idaho, and we were walking on that little walkway. It was moving all along, and someone shoved us. And I was like, I turned around, I said, we're walking. And apparently we were walking fast enough. I turned around and it came to the end and I almost fell. Now, I could have been mad the whole day, and I could have treated everybody like shit after that. But instead, I shifted that energy. I'm not going to live in that place of a low vibration. And then you're just going to attract more of it. So
Yeah.
the way I love myself is I don't stay in that vibration. I'm sorry those people were hurt and they're emotionally hurt and they're entitled and they think that no one else exists in the airport except for them. But I'm not going to turn around and make that ruin my day. It ruined a moment, but it's
Mhm.
not going to ruin my day. So, I
Exactly.
love myself enough to take my power back
Yes.
and shine my light to
Mhm.
influence someone else to have a better day, have a better quality of life. Did I get mad in the moment? Of course I did. I'm a Scorpio.
You were stinging.
I was like ready to put that little stinger out. I was like, nope, I'm not going to give them my power.
And that's so beautiful because it's situational awareness and it's awareness of your own body and your own feelings, but it's awareness of the other. And that's what's lacking right now. And the word that I was looking for was betrayal. And so no longer can we betray ourselves and what is yearning to come through us. And no longer can we betray others by telling them, oh, everything's fine, and it's really not fine. We got to speak about these things and face them. Use our boundaries, not to push others away, but just to set the tone and protect. And the best people to talk to are the clerks and the cashiers. God doesn't always use, the most fanciest, seemingly qualified people to do the work in this world. And that's where, we're all equal. And, the homeless person has a lot to teach me, right? The sick person has a lot to teach me. Everybody is my teacher. And that's, never lost on me. I once was these clerks and these people that used to get yelled at. So I'm always, blessing them and trying to spark up a conversation. And that was a choice that you had to decide. I've got a million other seconds, well, not really a million, but you got a lot of seconds left in your day. It was maybe poo 5 minutes, but you're not claiming the day is bad. It was just that instant, that moment, that interaction. And you made the choice to say to somebody else, to pour into them. And that's how we heal. When we're hurting, we do unto others as we would wish things were done to us. And that only could make you feel better and the other person. And that's how we heal. That's how we love, truly.
Now I just love everybody, and I tell people I love them, and people tell me they love me, and it's like,
I love you.
I love you too. I know. As soon as I met you and your husband, I was like, I love these two. They're awesome. Well, there's a lady at our Sprouts, and I always go in there and talk to her. And I noticed one day that she was really having a hard time standing on her feet. Well, she had plantar fasciitis, and she has to stand on her feet all day. That's painful. So I offered her a free session in the Harmonic Egg when I still owned the center. And to this day, when I go into the store, she's like, "Can I hug you?" I mean, she comes from out behind the counter and she gives me a big hug, and I just love her to pieces. And she's always asking me, "How's Holly, my horse? How's your boyfriend?" She knows his name. She knows, and so we've connected on a level that's just different. And my dad used to teach me, it doesn't matter if you're a garbage man or you're scraping gum off the sidewalk, you're no better than the CEO of a big corporation, because you put your pants on the same way. Of course, if you wear pants or a dress, you put your clothes on the same way. And he used to say that no matter how much money you have, no one's getting out alive. You can't buy, that kind of stuff. And so we're all in this together. And so I learned that at a young age, is to treat the garbage man the same way that you would treat, a CEO of a company. And it's really taken me a long ways. And I treat on our movie set, I treated the craft services people just as well as I treated Tom Sizemore, he recently passed away, rest in peace, but he was in our, in our movie. He didn't get treated any differently than the craft services people. So anyway, we're going to be wrapping up. So did you want to say some last words about loving yourself, the ego, ascension, descension. Any last words of, wisdom for our audience?
We are all word and worthy of all goodness, love, and light. We are the light. We are the love. And so just look within, find it, shine your light, keep shining your light for others. If you can't even find it for yourself, you know that you can do something kind for someone else. That's shining our light. And then just slowly, day by day, take back your power.
I love it. So shine your light, own your power. You guys, don't give away your power. If someone wrongs you, just shine your light. Don't give them your power, and do something nice for somebody in every way possible. Letting them in for, people turn their turn signal on. You let them in traffic. Give the thank you wave. I don't know if you guys watch Seinfeld, but the thank you wave, I always want the thank you wave, because I always give the thank you wave for any kind of effort, because I just want to spread the love and share the love. So thank you, Heather, for being here today. So blessed to know you. And thank you for all your wisdom and all you're doing to serve everyone on the planet, including your 5 kids.
Thank you. Love you. Blessings.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
This show is not intended to diagnose, prevent, or treat any diseases or illnesses. The information presented within cannot substitute the advice of your physician or other trained healthcare professionals. The content of this show is for educational purposes only and is the expressed opinion of the show host and guests.